All right, guys, so I just wrapped up a student coaching call, and man, this was one of the best trainings I ever put together. We talked all things mindset, daily habits. I provided some worksheets and examples for our students. And honestly, if you're in business, looking to start a business, it doesn't matter. This is probably one of the most impactful trainings I've ever put together. It will quite literally change the way you view business and how you can be successful as quickly as possible. So take a look at this raw footage of our coaching call and everything I shared. All right, guys, so I shared a document inside the community chat. Before getting into it, I kind of wanted to just break down the thought process behind today's training. We spend a lot of time every single day, pretty much every single day of every week, really trying to identify ways we can continue to improve the program, ways we can continue to empower you guys to get further faster. So for today's training, the thought process has come behind the idea that there's only so much you can really do in business, right? So a lot of us, we kind of sit back and we consume, right? We're consuming as much information as possible to get to the goals we set out for ourselves. I've come to the point where I've realized that there's only so much information I can share with you guys, and we're going to continuously get more and more and tweak and improve. But the biggest thing that matters the most is how we apply that information to our day-to-day. So today's training is how to become a beast in business. I'm going to break down everything besides strategy in this when it comes to technical stuff. It's really a lot of mindset and really understanding how to apply the knowledge you learn in this program and in every program you'll ever come across. A lot to break down. Got a good amount of people in here. Before I begin, does anyone have any initial questions or concerns before I start diving in? Because I got a lot to tackle here. Max, do me a favor. If anyone has a question and I'm not seeing it, just let me know, ping me, and I'll take a quick look at that. But I'm going to pause throughout each section to stop and answer any questions. So that being said, guys, let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. How to be a beast in business. After working with hundreds of coaches here at the DBA and spending countless hours tweaking, fixing, and helping clients scale, one major rule that we've kind of learned is that no matter what the information we teach you, it doesn't matter unless you know how to apply it to your business on the day-to-day. So the number one thing that will ultimately decide if you find results or not is your ability to operate like a successful business owner. Who would know? And it doesn't matter how good your ads are if you aren't tweaking and tracking performance. It doesn't matter how many qualified leads you get if you aren't remaining consistent with your messaging and logging your data. And it doesn't matter how many sales calls you get if you aren't consistently working on tweaking and improving your sales pitch. All right, so this really smart guy on the internet said, it doesn't matter how nice or flashy the car is, if you don't practice and learn how to drive, it won't be any value to you. Right, some guy named Alex said that. I heard he's a cool guy. So in this training, I'm not going to give you any tactical information on how to scale your business. We're literally just going to focus on mindset and habit building. All right, so guys, look, I've identified, and Max and I, we got on a meeting every single week, and we look and see what do our clients need the most help with. And the underlining denominator that we keep seeing is this, right? Your problem is probably one of these three or all three. One, you don't have the right inputs to get your desired outputs in your business. You may have information to, growing your business, such as you may know how to launch ads, right? You may know how to create content, but you don't know how to apply that information every single day, right? We can put together an entire catalog of tutorial videos on what to do, but it's why some people jump from coaching program to coaching program, from YouTube video to YouTube video, from mentor to mentor, because despite them having literally access to all that information in the world, they don't know exactly what they need to do every single day to get the right outputs for their business. So you're operating day to day, working on what you think is the right thing to do, but you aren't doing a good job looking ahead and actually optimizing for what your business actually needs. You're also not looking at the data presented in front of you and making smart decisions using your numbers and not emotions. All right, so this is John, right? John's a personal finance coach who charges $2,500 for 90 days of coaching. And despite John being an expert at his firm, when he joined a brand new coaching program to learn how to start and scale his coaching offer, he struggled with understanding exactly what his day-to-day would look like. Some days, John would focus on content. Other days, John would worry about setting up DMs. Then he will have a few sales calls and let everything kind of fall through the crack. And God forbid if John was sick, had kids that he had to pick up from a dance recital or anything like that, his business would spiral out of control. So despite having all the knowledge he needs to grow his business, John isn't seeing any much forward progress as he'd like. But why, right? That's the question, why? So first, this is going to be one of a few worksheets I have for you guys. The first thing that we got to realize is that one of the reasons why John is struggling day to day is because he isn't clear on exactly what he needs to do to get the results he wants. So the first thing I want you guys to do, this entire document is shared inside the community Slack channel. I want you guys to go ahead, click on this and fill this out later. I provided a template to help you guys understand how to reverse engineer your monthly goals. It's on Canva. It's really simple and easy to use. You can set up a free account and then you can start plugging this information in, or you could just even do this on a document. It doesn't even have to be on a fancy Canva spreadsheet. So I filled out John's goal for him. his monthly goal plan for him. So John wants to make $25,000 per month, right? So obviously to do that, he needs 10 clients every single month. And just so you guys are aware, we're going to do this on a month-to-month basis. I'll explain that later on why that's so important later. So because John offers personal finance coaching and charges $2,500 for 90 days, he knows he needs 10 clients a month, right? Pretty self-explanatory. A little bit of advice for you guys. I'll pause and say this. Whenever you're setting goals for yourself, try to shoot a little higher than that, right? So John, I'm going to personally tell John, hey, John, I know you want to close 10 clients a month. Shoot for 13 and reverse engineer your goals and design them to be able to hit 13 clients a month. That way, if you fall a little short, no worries. You still knocked your goal out the park. All right, so these are all numbers optimized for John's goal of 10, though, just to keep it simple. So because John closes at 30%, which we identified by looking at his sales numbers from the last month, he knows he needs to take about 33 sales calls per month to hit that goal, right? So if he takes 33, closes 10 out of 33, that's 30%. 30%, by the way, close rate is pretty low. We shoot for 50% or greater with this funnel where people know who you are, they can see your content, they get more familiar with you. But just for the sake of using industry standards, if you're closing 30%, you can at least book 33 calls and still hit your goal of 25K per month. So I'll pause right here. After speaking with Max every single week, we realized that a lot of you guys don't even know what your close rate would be, right? Some of you guys are sitting here saying, this is great information, Alex, but I don't know what my close rate is. I don't know, how to track that. I don't know what that looks like. So first things first, in the DBA, we provide a kind of detailed breakdown on how to track your sales numbers. You can go and find that under advanced sales and then sales and tracking. We provide a tracking sheet. We're going to talk about daily habits and setting up a good workflow, but tracking this on the day-to-day will help you become better at understanding where your bottlenecks are and how to improve that. Okay, so that's the first thing to understand there. But let's say you need to decide this number now and you haven't been tracking in the past. What I recommend doing is trying to get 20 data points. So go back and look at 20 leads you took a call with and see your close rate through the last 20. And then moving forward, do a better job of consistently tracking your sales performance each month. So this is super important, guys. I know you all want to make a ton of money every single month, but we can't help you do that if we don't know how, what to work on inside your business. So we're kind of literally breaking it down and reverse engineering everything. John needs 33 sales calls per month. We can assume, because he did a good job tracking his previous months, he needs about 100 calls pitched per month. Okay, so how do we get to 100 calls pitched per month? Well, John manages DMs 20 times a day, right? He works Monday through Friday. He doesn't work on the weekends. He also knows that if he pitches 5 calls a day, at least one person will book per day. And technically he needs a little bit more than that. He needs about 1.6. So with proper follow-up and everything, he's going to shoot for booking 2 appointments a day per working day, Monday through Friday. Okay. And again, John was able to identify this number by doing a good job tracking. And we also have a tracking sheet for appointment setting. So if you go to Classroom, you go to setting appointments, and then you go down here, we added a tracking sheet here. You can, of course, put together your own tracking sheet. You don't have to follow ours as long as you're just following basic amount of numbers, right? You're just following how many people did you reach out to, how many people turned into a conversation, how many people then you were able to send a link to, and of those people, how many people booked. That's it. And how many follow-ups you're doing per day. That's all you really need to track. It doesn't have to be too meticulous as long as you're being consistent with tracking it. And then last but not least, we know that to get to that amount of 5 pitch calls per day, he needs to reach out to 30 followers a day and do 10 follow-ups a day. So that's about 600 new leads per month, right? So he needs to average about 600 new leads per month. In this case, about 600 followers plus inbound DMs from retargeting ads every single month to be able to hit this goal. Guys, this is just a rough estimate. And we can get more granular and more detailed. We could elaborate more on this. But the thought process here is just get in the habit of looking at your goals and seeing what each element is required to get there. And if you don't have the data yet, go back and try to recollect the best you can. And if you can't even do that, just moving forward, just do a good job documenting now. And I want to say this is so important. You guys are going to ask me, well, what should my average close rate should be? What should my KPIs be for this, that, and the third? I'll be fully transparent with you. KPIs are going to vary from business to business. The best thing I could tell you to do is get 30 days worth of data where you're consistent throughout the month and determine however much money you made from that month as your KPI. So if we were to cut these numbers in half, John, the previous month made half of all this. He closed 5 clients. He, took 16.5 sales calls. He pitched 50 people and then got 300 leads. We can assume that to get more income, we need to double those numbers. And it's not going to be linear progression. Scaling isn't linear progression. I'm not going to necessarily double these numbers and see double the output necessarily. But what will happen is it would allow us to establish a new KPI. And then you just move and operate from there. Okay. The biggest advice I can give you all, though, is don't look at the day-to-day. And we'll spend more time talking about that. But I'll pause real quick. Anyone have any questions or concerns? Was that confusing? Do you guys understand that and understand that concept? Any questions? No? Okay, beautiful. Let's get straight into it. Got a lot more to break down here. So that's going to be the thing I assign all you guys to do. Reverse engineer your goals so you know exactly every day that what you're working towards. And I'm going to give you guys something really cool, which is a habit tracker momentarily. But once you've identified your monthly goals and what it takes to get there, you need to visualize this every day. Every day you should plaster this on your wall. You should have this somewhere on your document where you're looking at this every day. 25K a month, right? I need 100, so and so. I need this, and this. Identify that every single week, every single day, so you stay motivated. And what you'll realize is a lot of the times you aren't working as hard as you should. Let me give you guys a real life example of oftentimes we don't work as hard as we realize. Back in the day when I was trying to put on a ton of weight, I felt like I was eating a ton of food. Like when I felt like I was eating a ton of food, man, I felt like every hour of the hour I was eating, I felt like I should have been putting on way more weight than I was at the time. But it wasn't until I started actually tracking my calories that I realized I was eating 900 calories less than what I actually needed to hit my weight goals, right? I used MyFitnessPal. I calculated how many calories I needed to eat per day. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm 900 calories less than what I actually need to hit that goal. It's not until you guys sit down and reverse engineer what you need to do every day that you realize that a lot of the times, it's a little harsh to say this, guys, but you guys aren't working as hard as you could be or should be to hit the goals you set out for yourself. Or if you do work very hard, you work hard in spurts. Maybe one day of the week you're working really hard, then the rest of the week you're not as consistent. It's the same thing with business. You have to track your progress consistently and identify what areas of your business needs the most work. Some of you guys are putting more time and effort into things that aren't as relevant to getting you the results you need now, right? Maybe I'm eating a ton of carbs every day to keep my energy up in the gym, but I'm trying to build muscle, so I'm undercutting my protein. I should be eating way more protein than I am, but I'm not properly tracking, so I don't know. Some of you guys are putting way more time into content creation than actually messaging the leads and following up with them than you are, doing other areas of your business to actually see results. So that's kind of the first thing here, guys. You need to reverse engineer your goals. So everyone, click on this document, get access to the template, fill it out, and share it with us, and allow us to hold you accountable, right? That's another big element to this program, is that you have someone like Max that will reach out to you every week and make sure you're holding yourself accountable to the goals we set out for yourself. All right, next up is you need to disconnect yourself from the outcome of the daily task. This is going to be really fun. This is my favorite thing that I break down here because I just like seeing progress over time. So it's so easy to get caught up in the day to day and say to yourself, man, I've messaged 20 people so far today, no response. What the heck is going on? I must be doing something wrong. When we are talking about business, you got to understand things develop over time. In most cases, it can take more time than you think. So if we let emotions determine what we do in business, we'll fail every single time, right? You got to understand the law of averages, guys. I'll give you some real life examples, right? Caleb in the program now, right? When we first reached out to him, he quite literally told us as politely as possible, thanks for reaching out, but I'm all set, dude. I'm already invested into somebody else. Your content's dope, but I'm all set, right? So what would most people say to themselves? Well, this guy's already invested in somebody else. We're not going to keep following up this guy. We're not going to keep providing value. We're just going to move on to the next person. And to some degree, yeah, you want to do that. But we didn't take it as an emotional hit on our ego. We didn't say to ourselves, man, my offer, my messaging sucks, blah, blah, blah. We just understood it as, all right, well, this might not be the right time for this person. And now, fast forward to today, Caleb's one of our best clients, doing amazing results, seeing amazing results. And it's just like, if we had just gave up, we'd never be able to build this connection out. Same thing with Ethan. We got on a sales call with Ethan before he enrolled with us. And he quite literally said, no, not at this time. What does everyone say when they hear that no word? They take a hit to their ego. They're a little bit disappointed, and it sucks, obviously. But you then fast forward to now, reconnect with Ethan, re-message him. He's now back here with us in the program, scaled past 20K a month in the first 30 days. So you got to understand, guys, and I'm going to give you an analogy that's going to change the way you look at all of this in a moment here, but you got to realize that you should focus more on identifying what you need to do day to day and just doing it and letting go what the end result is. Now, you take that with a grain of salt. Obviously, if you've messaged 300 people and you got no responses, then we got to work on the technique. But it's more so about understanding, I know I need to do this no matter what. Let me just get in love and fall in love with the process and worry less about what the end result would look like in this exact moment, right? And back to the law of averages, guys, we've had multiple weeks in business where we have a terrible week in business, where it's just literally like we close nobody. We get on tons of appointments, but close like nobody. Then the next week we'll get only 2 appointments, close both of them, and make 10K that day. And it's just like, wait a minute, so obviously we want to have the most consistent business in the world, but you got to understand the law of averages. It's more about overall month-to-month success than week to week or day to day. And if you start looking at it bigger picture, I'm telling you, you'll stress yourself a lot out less. So here's what I want you guys to do. This is something I've learned in my years of business that I'm so grateful for now. Everybody, please stop what you're doing right now and get access to this sheet. This is a daily habit tracker, and what you need to do to be an absolute beast is gamify your daily habits. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how we're gonna spend some time breaking this down, but it's a really cool sheet, right? So what you can do is you can identify your daily habits and literally start to mark them down, and you have some little kind of things to work towards here. You can see that you can, see how long your current streak is sending messages, your goal per day, and you can mark it down. And the cool thing about this is, like, if I mark this here, I'll start getting like this little emoji going on, right? So this is like your new dopamine. Right now, you're programmed to think that if I send messages, I'm going to close a deal and make a ton of money, which is inherently a good thing. But you also, throughout this progress, have to start to program your brain to fall in love with what you're doing. So you guys can quite literally do this right now. What you're going to do is hit File, make a copy, name it whatever you want. I'm just going to say test. And what you're going to do is, once you make a copy here, you're going to go to the setup section here, and you're just going to rename the task that you want to do. Really simple. So if I say DMs, and if I say, create content, whatever it is you want to do, you're going to rename the task here, and then you're going to go to the actual habit tracker, and it's going to automatically update. And there's this little arrow at the bottom. For those of you that may need more tasks, you can just uncheck that arrow there and then add in the task here, right? Really, really, really simple to use, and start to add in your daily task here. And then you can mark this off month to month. So this is the 2023 tracker. Obviously 2023 is almost over. So right below is the 24 tracker. So just get access to it. It's the same exact thing. And you can choose what day of the week you'd like to start off. Is it Sunday, Monday, whatever you want to do, and just start gamifying this. Forget about, like, obviously I know there's a good amount of you guys that need to make money. I'm not saying forget about trying to make money, but for a moment, just disconnect your focus and your outcome with how much money can I make to how consistent can I be. It's all about changing your questioning and your perspective. And I promise you, like, once you change you start asking yourself a different way, instead of how can I make more money, or what do I need to do to make more money? That's how you should start looking at it. But go ahead and make a copy of the sheet, and then every day just write out your task, guys, and just check it off. Like, this takes 2 seconds. Like, I can go in here and just do this for 2 seconds and see how long you can be consistent with this, and just start gamifying the task. I had a buddy back in the day, like this was like a year ago, and I was talking to him. I was telling him, like, dude, I struggle with like being consistent in my business. I think I'm complacent now. I don't know what's going on. And he looked me in the eye, and after asking me a few more questions, he just told me, like, dude, you're wired to care more about the outcome than the task itself. So this is what you need to do. Take 2 jars and a bag of marbles, and every time you do a task, put a ton of marbles in one jar, leave another one empty. Every time you do a task, move one marble to the other jar, and fall in love with just doing that, and watch as the jar fills up throughout the day when you do your task. So this is the equivalent of that. You guys don't have to go out your way and buy marbles and jars. You could just use this worksheet instead. So please use this, and then share this with Max. She's going to hold you accountable. So if she looks at your sheet and you haven't done your habits, she's going to get on top of you. And at that point, guys, if you're not filling this out, you have only yourself to blame for why you're not where you want to be in business. And last but not least, I think I'm repeating myself here, build out your habit tracker to have the most important things you need. Oh, so this is important, right? So build it out to have the most important things that you need. Don't put a ton of fluff information that you don't need. If you need assistance realizing what you need to accomplish every day, just reach out to us. We'll tell you, like, David, this is exactly what you need to do on the day-to-day. Then go ahead, fill out your sheet and do that, right? We're here to kind of quite literally tell you what you need to do. You just got to do it at this point. And then last but not least, take notes and try to identify trends throughout the day. So this is something Trevor and I do every single day. We're always trying to find trends in what we're doing. For example, when we're reaching out to, let's say, 50 new followers a day, we're trying to identify what type of accounts tend to respond back to us. And what we find is, generally speaking, people with profile pictures and content on their page are way more likely to respond to us. Or another trend we find is that people that have recently liked or engaged with our content, they're more likely to respond back to us right away. Another thing we've identified is when we send someone the thesis 2 days ahead of time before, instead of just 1, they're way more likely to actually watch it. Okay, so go ahead and do your task, disassociate yourself with the outcome, but during this time, this 30-day window, start writing down and trying to identify trends that you can identify and use to optimize your work, right? When you're working and setting out your task every day, that's going to just make you so much better of a business owner. Super, super important. So next one up here. Oh, actually, let me pause real quick. Any questions or concerns? How you guys all feeling so far? Man, I feel bad for anyone that's missing this training today, because it's a good one today. Beautiful. Any other questions? We would definitely could save them to the end, or if you guys want to interject, just let me know. So now, organization. This, like, I'm going to show you guys my calendar from like 8 months ago to now. It's literally going to be hilarious, but you have to organize and plan out your day and week ahead, right? So Trevor and I live and die by Google Calendar. I can't believe that sometimes we get on appointments with people or they will miss their appointment. And the reason why they miss their appointment is because they didn't see it on their Google Calendar, because they don't use Google Calendar. I'm just like, how do you not utilize some type of calendar scheduling tool? Even if it's not Google Calendar, some type of calendar scheduling tool. If you aren't, I don't know what you're doing, but you clearly maybe don't like money or something. But honestly, use a Google scheduling tool, preferably Google Calendar. Business is chaotic, guys. I don't care how much money you're making. It's chaotic. So you need to find organization and peace in the madness of it all. So you hold yourself accountable and you have a super lean and concise daily routine. Trevor, if you can, dude, post what your day-to-day looked like from your journal in the Slack channel, and you can take a look at what our day-to-day used to look like almost a year ago, and it's absolutely horrible. So when building out your schedule, you want to map out a time for essentials, like obviously eating, working out, like please take care of yourself. But you also want to map out time for mental breaks throughout the day to reflect and journal. This isn't something I used to do, and I regret that. I wish I did this a lot sooner. But I have my journal. I literally have my journal right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have some notes already on it. And I'm literally just journaling throughout the day so I can disassociate myself with the business and just take a 50-foot overview. Because a lot of the times, guys, it comes back to this fancy word, emotion. When you're in the moment doing something, it can feel so stressful, so exhausting, so annoying. And it isn't until you take a step back and realize, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought. And if you journal and reflect on that, you'll realize what I'm talking about, right? So let me show you guys something real quick. This is February of this year. And if I kind of just pan around a little bit, this is what my schedule used to look like. Right? Like just filled with nonsense. Look at this, just calendar appointment. There's these random chunks of meetings and stuff that I had to do. So this was my entire day. And as you can see, there's nowhere that I pause and say, hey, let me have like a mental break or something. It's just nonstop work throughout the day. This is my schedule this week. This is what my schedule will look like next week. A clean look before like appointments start to get scheduled. And this is just like a clean look of what my schedule looks like now. Evenly spaced out. I have time to do the important things that I need to do. I obviously have time to eat and then also take a mental break. This is very important. It's only 30 minutes, but I sit down if I can, meditate if I can, go outside on a walk. It's starting to get cold here now, so I don't like going outside as much, but just taking some time to myself and organizing my day. And also something very great about this is that I've assigned a certain day to do content. And content for me looks like YouTube, short form content, reviewing my content, whatever that may be. But guess what? I've kind of started to condition my brain to do and create content at 4 to 5 p.m. And this is important because what I was doing when I was pulling out my schedule and building out my schedule, I was reflecting on the time when I was the most productive in my life, right? Because there was a time where if we look back at this February time, I was chaotic. Like business and day to day was chaotic. And I'm like, why am I so stressed out? Why am I so exhausted? Why am I bouncing off the walls all the time? What can I do to resolve this? So I sat down, and because I was journaling and reflecting, I got a prompt from a buddy of mine that says, hey, go back in a point in your life when you were the happiest and try to remember or try to identify why that you were the happiest in. One of the best points in my life was actually when I was in school, both high school and college. Mostly high school though. And the reason for that is because I had so much structure in my day-to-day, and I was used to waking up really early, eating at a certain time, and that's when my body just functioned the best. So it took me months to realize this, but after a while I realized I just need structure again. I need to play structure, and I need to get my brain used to doing certain tasks at certain times in the day. So I find that at certain times in the day, I'm most creative around 4 to 5. Why? Because by this time I've probably taken some meetings. I've probably spoken to some of our team members, and I have a ton of ideas and stuff flowing through my brain. Maybe I spent some time seeing some content or doing some market research. So now at the end of the day, I have so much ideas flowing through my brain. I like to do my marketing audits first thing in the morning, because one of the things I do is I check, because I run 4 different follower ads, I check to see the night before how many followers I got for each of those ads. So I like to do it first thing in the morning, because obviously if we wait until the end of the day, then they start to accrue more followers, and I can't distinguish between what I gained from yesterday from today. Obviously, mental break is like the middle point of the day from 10 a.m. to 6. This is like the halfway point, so that's why I have the mental break. So my point here to reflect on this, start to plan out your days. Start to optimize and organize your days. You wake up every day kind of just throwing yourself into the fire, not knowing what to expect of the day. And it's no reason why you can't get DMs done. It's no reason why you don't have enough time to do follow-ups. Why? Because this is probably what a lot of your schedules look like. It looks crazy. Maybe it's not with sales calls or client check-ins, but it's with other things. And the last point I will harp on here is the night before, you should visualize what your day is going to look like. You should visualize what clothes you're wearing, what food you're eating, what journal prompt you're going to write out, everything that you're going to do the night before. So you just operate. You don't even think, right? You don't even need to think anymore about what you got to do. You're just doing. And that is the best way to run and optimize a business. You turn your brain off and you kind of just go. You just do. And now I have the luxury now to kind of take a mental day on Wednesday. So I'll spend some time talking about this. When I can, I will work if it's needed. But on a Wednesday, I like to take what we call a digital detox. And this was actually first introduced to me by Trevor. And it's a really good way to remove yourself from your digital devices, especially in our realm of work where a lot of us spend a lot of time every day on our phones, computers, laptops, TVs, whatever. It's so important to disassociate yourself. And this is where I get the most clarity on my business overall. This is when I realize the holes, the bottlenecks in my business. This is when I realize the mistakes that I've made. This is when I realized the things that I thought were so detrimental weren't actually as bad as I initially thought, because I can disassociate myself and just think. And I'm oftentimes traveling, doing something, doing literally anything besides business if possible. And again, I have the luxury now of doing this. Some of you guys may not be able to. So I recommend trying to take a chunk out of the, one of these weekdays if you can. If you can't, do the whole day. But this is vital. This is super, super, super vital to organize and structure your day like this. And I leave spots obviously open for client check-ins, sales calls if needed. And there are going to be some exceptions to the rule. Some days I might open up my calendar a little bit. But the point is, I built a daily routine that I can get used to doing every day. So now I know, oh, it's 11 a.m. I don't have to even think about it. I got to send 20 DMs, right? So that's kind of the thought process there. So,
Hey, Alex.
yes.
I have, so you take it a 3 day, you take Wednesday off and then weekends off? Are those your days off?
Yeah. So when I say days off, I'm always working on my business, but it's more so less about not taking actual appointments, whether it's sales calls,
Oh,
client check-in
okay.
calls. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alex,
Yes.
so when you go back to your calendar, basically the only time available for someone to book a call with you are these empty slots.
Yes. And if a client, like for example, is it this week? Yeah. So if a client is like, hey Alex, I don't have any other availability. Can I check in with you on 6? Then I will definitely book in if need be. But yes, in most cases, the only empty spots here is when people can book in a time. And you can, for those of you who use Google Calendar or Calendly or Go High Level, whatever you use for your calendar scheduling tool, you can connect that to your Google Calendar. So that way you can literally just block off times here and people can't schedule in on those times.
Yeah, so I have mine connected to my personal calendar and to my work calendar, just in case there are like family appointments, etc. But when I organize my day, I don't block it out. So if I get a sales call, I prioritize that. Yeah, I don't know if that's a practice I'm ready to adopt yet, but it looks helpful. I'm just in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I'm not getting that many calls yet. If someone wants to book, I don't want to leave such minimal available spaces. I want them to be able to book at any possible time. So what do you think of that?
That's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. So what you can do with Google Calendar is click on the event itself, and you can make that event free. So if I make it free, it's populated there and everything, and people can still book in at that time. So if someone books in at the time, great. Then I manage that. If not, though, then I just do what the initial event was. Yeah, that's a really great question there. So I think there was a point in time where we had like group coaching calls when we were a part of a different mastermind, and we'd set all those times as free. So if someone booked in a time, we'd take the sales call. If not, we'd hop on the group coaching call there. So really great question there. All right. So when you build out your schedule, map out time for essentials. And then obviously, basically everything I just said is what I wrote here. One last thing to add here is the rule, Parkinson's law, right? So the amount of time you give yourself to do a task is normally how much time it takes to complete it. So despite what you may think, I'm actually getting more done and more impactful things accomplished in less time here than when I did here. And you would say to yourself, Alex, you're working from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. How is that possible? I see way more things on your calendar. I'm here to tell you that this is a bunch of fluff, what you're looking at right now. A lot of this stuff isn't as neat as you may look or think. And, I can go through in weeks and weeks and show you that. But it's about condensing your schedule so you can, because a lot of you guys, what are you guys, parents, maybe you're busy with other things in your life. There's things that you guys have, and I understand that. So it's not that you can't accomplish all the things you need to accomplish. It's just you got to get better at condensing and focusing on the main things that you need so you can put that into your calendar. So just as a quick recap here, reverse engineer goals, start to gamify your daily task and figure out exactly what you need to do every day to get the outcome, and then organize it all and plan the day, the week ahead so you can visualize that. All right, number 4, we're almost wrapping up here. overall, my biggest advice to you all is find what works best for you. This is what I want to spend a good amount of time talking about as well. You have to understand, guys, that I really, really wish I could tell you all to do this, this, and this, and it's going to get you amazing results. And to some degree, we kind of can do that, right? Let me show you guys something real quick. Every single week, Max and I, we pull up a calendar worksheet. A client management sheet where we take a look at all of our active clients, and we just kind of take a look and see what you need to fill out and accomplish in a given time period. So here's a template of kind of what that would look like here. And we have this thing called the DBA action checklist. And we take a look at every single one of our clients, and we try to identify, this is again just a little template that I put together on my own behalf, but we try to take a look and identify everything that you need to accomplish inside this program to get the results you need to get, right? So for example, you got to obviously complete an onboarding call. And this is going to be beneficial for you guys when it comes to your own client delivery, but you have to obviously complete an onboarding call. You have to build out your offer worksheet / marketing playbook, depending on what is more beneficial to you. Once you finish that out, we identify that and we link it here. For those of you with an established following, you have to do an OTO, right? Like, it's not that you have to, but it's going to greatly benefit you. If you have an existing warm audience, you can launch an OTO like multiple of you guys have done and close some deals and get some people through the door before even running ads. You obviously need a follower ad. Some of you will need a cold inbound DM ad. Everyone should have retargeting ads. And if you get far enough, you should get an appointment setter, someone to manage your DMs for you. And then what we're doing is weekly progress, right? Like, what did Caleb accomplish this week? What did Ruben accomplish? What is stopping Ruben from getting from point A to point B? What is stopping Maya from getting point A to point B? And we do this for the entirety of the program, right? We document some certain things. And also when you fill out worksheets, we identify that as well. So we can, to some degree, do the best we can, the very best that we can, to identify everything you need to do and make it as digestible and understandable as possible. But ultimately speaking, we're going to give you proven strategies that are universal to some degree, but you have to take that information and actually apply it to your unique circumstances, right? So one of the best ways we close leads is through cold DM ads. But we know people in this industry that, like, every time they run a cold DM ad, it just doesn't work, right? Ethan, for example, he gets a lot of his clients from just reaching out to his followers. I know a majority of you guys, that's probably not the case, because a lot of your followers aren't warm enough, because your offers aren't as direct and precise as Ethan's, because everyone knows what fitness coaching is, but not everyone may know what, getting a healthy lifestyle without taking pills. They don't know what that really would look like to them until they're educated and learn through Maya, right? So it's very important to understand that one of your things that you should be doing every single day, every single week, is being proactive. And if I can go back and change anything in my business and life, the number one thing I would tell myself to go back to help me go farther faster is just stick with it. I know that's probably what you hear all the time. Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, it seems like that's a lazy way out and the easy excuse, but I quite literally mean this. There will come a point in the time, and Trevor and I talk about this all the time. We're at a point in our lives where we know exactly what it takes to get to 150K a month. There's nothing that we really need to know. Maybe there's maybe one or two technical things, but it really just comes down to being consistent and progressing over time. A lot of you guys in this program, and every single coaching program, if done correctly, you have all the knowledge you need. You have all the information and resources and tools you need. You just got to be consistent and fall in love with the journey. So you may not see the light at the end of the tunnel, but guess what? No one ever does. Like, I swear to God, no one ever does. It may not be as clear as you want or as consistent as you want, but just focus on the things you guys can control. Like, just show up in your business every day, handle the things that you can manage, and let the rest of the things play out. Because ultimately speaking, you only have so much control in your business. For example, let me give you guys an example. If you rely on emotion and you kind of just do things as you see fit, what could happen is a situation like this, where there was one point in our business where we know personally that sending someone content before getting on the phone with us dramatically increases our chances of closing them. But there may be a week where people just don't see our content, right? Like, we're sending it to them and they don't see it, right? That's a variable we can't control. Someone might be busy. Like, for example, this week, that is Thanksgiving week. There's going to be a ton of people that probably won't book in. They'll forget, and they might not even watch the videos if they do book in. We can't really control that. Can only do so much, right? We can incentivize them in the DMs to give it a watch. We can follow up with them. But there's only so much we can do. If we go this week and say, hey, man, this is a slow week, no one watched our videos. In the past, the DBA would have been like, all right, we got to change something up. Maybe we put together 3 videos that they got to watch. Maybe we send them 6 follow-up messages. And now we're kind of changing our process and actually taking, 1 step forward, 2 steps back because of that. Now we've kind of just gotten to the point where we realize, like, look, all we could really do is incentivize you to give this a watch. If you watch it, great. If you don't watch it, we can't really do much. We just got to keep doing what we know what we can do and control what we can. And that's just made business so much less stressful. A lot of you guys are so stressed out right now, and I don't want you to build this business off of stress and fear, because this can be really fun. I'm telling you, Trevor and I have been through the bottoms of coaching, like quite literally. There was our first year in business. We literally did not pay ourselves a single dollar in coaching at all. And we made thousands of dollars. We made over $100,000 our first year of coaching. And we didn't see a single cent of it, because we were always reinvesting, retrying new strategies. Like you guys, if you've watched the thesis, you know we've done code outreach, we've done organic marketing, TikTok, Pinterest, Instagram. I had a separate YouTube channel. We've done it all because we've invested in so many different programs. Because the moment we tried something for a little bit of time and we didn't see the results, we'd hop on to the next thing. There was a point in time I wanted to go into crypto. Like halfway through coaching, I'm like, you know what, maybe we should get into crypto, because you can see it on my old TikTok. Like there were some videos where I made a ton of money off of like the GameStop stock. I'm like, all right, I could do stock trading, go into crypto and leave coaching behind. But I stuck with it. And we're here today, and I'm the most happiest and stress-free I've ever been, because I just control what I can control and let the rest play out. Now, obviously, take everything with a grain of salt. I'm not saying you just like go complete carefree with your business and just do nothing at all, or don't try to make a conceited effort. Every step of the way, we're always looking at how can we get 1% better. For those of you just starting out creating content, it's not about turning your videos into Alex Hormozi style videos right away. It's just about getting content up consistently. That's your first battle. Then you can think about like, how can I make the videos look a bit more appealing? How can I make them shorter but more, value driven? And you start to increase over time. But the mistake a lot of us do is we're starting here and we're looking at people up here and we're trying to jump to where they got to right away. And we're skipping everything in between this point. So just control what you guys can control. Be consistent. I know there's some urgency behind some of you guys to make some money, but I promise you, like, it's less about making a ton of money right now and more about how can I build skill sets that will make sure I'm never broke again in life, or never struggling in life. All right, so look at this scenario here, right? And then I'll save some time for Q&A at the end here. We all know, whether you're a fitness expert or not, the key to looking healthy and feeling good is eat healthy and go to the gym consistently. I don't care, if you've never stepped foot in a gym. Everybody knows to some degree to look a certain way. Eat healthy, go to the gym consistently, like at face value. Obviously, there's more technical stuff to that, but at face value, the average person with no underlying health conditions, all they've got to really do is eat healthy, go to the gym consistently. And you may not know exactly what you need to eat, what works, or what workouts to do. That's why you may invest into a mentor like Caleb or Ethan. But at the end of the day, as long as you remain consistent, you'll get results you want. Okay. So we know underlining like health issues or anything like that, if you eat healthy, go to the gym, you're going to get amazing results. Now imagine you start a new routine and you look at yourself in the mirror every day and you come home from the gym. Chances are you aren't really going to see marginal progress, and the changes you want to see may take months. But guess what? So many people make the mistake of trying for a little and getting discouraged and giving up. Could you imagine? Like, think about that for a moment. You know that this is exactly what you need to do to become successful, but you try for a little bit and you don't see the results right away and you give up, even though you know you can accomplish this by just being consistent. It's the equivalent of me telling Ruben, hey Ruben, in 2024, at the end of 2024, you'll make $20 million. All you got to do to make that money though is go up and down this hill every single day. And Ruben starts going up and down this hill, and after the first month he's tired and exhausted. The second month he's beat up and he gives up on month 3. And everyone, if you're watching this in a movie, what would you tell the character in the movie? You're an idiot. Just keep going. Why? Because you can see the end result. You know that if Ruben goes up and down this mountain every day, by the end of the year, he'll make $20 million. It's the same thing with business, guys. You all know that to close clients consistently, you got to get eyeballs on your offer. You want to funnel them through your personal brand so they can know, like, and trust you. You get them on the phone and then you close them. We all know what it takes, but there will be so many people that drop out through this process that won't remain consistent, that will tell themselves this won't work, even though they know that this is exactly what they need to do to get the results. There's not many things surefire guaranteed in life, but if you know that this is something, that you can pretty much guarantee, it's just a matter of time. It's not if it will happen, it's when it will happen. You better do everything in your power to make sure you stay as consistent as possible. I don't want to look back like a few years down the line and regretting it. There are some people in Trevor's friend group and my friend group that we share that we kind of look at them and say that's a time capsule, because those people didn't progress at all through when we started in affiliate marketing 3 years ago to now. Those people didn't progress at all. And we're looking back at those people and saying, man, if we didn't try and put our asses on the line and really try to get better every single day, we'd be in their exact position where they are now to this day. I'm so glad I'm not looking back regretting the decisions I made. So to wrap up here, guys, really just take a look back and take a 50-foot overview and realize that there's not many things guaranteed in life. You are in a program right now. You have access to information right now that can pretty much guarantee your success You just got to apply it consistently. And if you're struggling throughout any progress or any moment in life and in business, reach out to us. Obviously, that's what we're here for. But you guys are all capable. There's no one here that's not capable of hitting certain goals that they've set out for themselves, or even higher. A lot of stuff there. Hopefully that was deep, and you guys can all resonate with that. We do have some time left over here. This is a Thanksgiving week, so just so you guys are aware, Trevor's call on Thursday will not happen. I believe Trevor might push that to Friday. He'll let you guys know, but just letting you know about that. But I want to save some time. Any questions? How are we feeling? Even if you don't have any questions, how are you feeling about all that stuff? Hopefully that resonates. And if you guys like that, I have like a list of more things we can bring on our Tuesday calls as well moving forward. So how are we all feeling, guys?
I'll say something. That work back was really helpful. Just like putting it up, like, and John wanted to make 25K a month, and just like what you got to do to reverse engineer that. I think that was like super helpful for sure. And that tracking sheet was really good. So just already got my mind going on certain things I need to do on the daily, like what I can check off. And I like how it like tracks it for the month and the week and stuff like that. So appreciate that.
Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I'm looking to bring like a deep training like this every single month, and then like maybe some other miscellaneous ones. The Q&A style is great. Like, we're here to obviously answer questions for you guys, but I think at this point now, you guys have all the information you need. It's really now about like, how can we help you soak in the mindset and the habits it takes to get there? And I think that's where most people are missing from getting where they want to get to. And I promise you, like, you really focus on self-improvement day to day, habits, and just being consistent. Guys, it's literally night and day difference, man. I'm telling you. All right, guys, so I hope you found value from that training. I really love working with our students and really getting them pumped and motivated with content like that. And if you didn't know already, we specialize in helping online coaches start or scale their business to $20,000 a month or more in profit. And we do a lot of great things like what you saw in this training to really get them on the right track, motivated, and have the right headspace to get in their business to the next level. So if you're someone struggling, you want to be a part of an amazing community and get coaching sessions like this, click the link down below in the description of this YouTube video. Feel free to book a time with us and our team. We can walk you through exactly what we do in detail and get you enrolled into the program. Or if you have any questions or you're not quite sure if you want to, go over to my Instagram page, shoot me a DM, and check out some of our client wins on the story highlights and really get to know more about what we do and the great results we've been able to help people. That being said, guys, see you guys in the next video.